So with the iPadOS 26 beta that has come out by now, it pretty much turns your iPad into like a little laptop in a sense. Now, it doesn't run Mac OS and stuff like that, but of course I'll talk about that later. But it does allow you to do what's called windowing, which pretty much allows you to open up multiple apps on your iPad, and you can be able to use it freely the way like a laptop can. So you can drag it around, you can minimize it, you can expand it, you can do, you know, whatever the hell you want to do with the whole windowing system, you can do that with it. And they updated a few little things with the iPad, like whenever you use a mouse and things of such. But like I said, we'll go over that in a little bit. I have the iPad mini, as many of you may know, but also many of you may not know because a lot of people may not know. You know what I mean? It even allows the iPad mini A17 Pro. I don't know about the mini 6. I'll have to double check what you know, generations of iPads allow iPadOS 26. But at least on the iPad mini 7, A17 Pro, whatever you want to call it, you can be able to have that little windowing system, which I think is pretty neat. There are some drawbacks. You can almost perform this as just like a little mini laptop, but of course, with the limitations of like the screen size and things of such, you know, it's gonna be kind of hard to do that. You feel me? So could you use the iPad mini as just a laptop in 2025? We're gonna talk about that, and I'm gonna let you guys know how it's been for me personally and if I like it or not. What's up with y'all, man? We back. The first thing I want to start off by talking is, why is the iPad mini still relevant in 2025? Why do I still use the iPad mini in 2025? I mean, we have all these great tablets and iPads in specific that are super fast, they're a little bit bigger, they get more things done. But why do I still use the iPad mini in 2025? And the simple reason is because the portability and the usability for me. So I like to do a lot of stuff with just like either journaling or like scripting out videos like this or watching videos. The main thing for me is the fact that it acts as just like a little like journal for me. So instead of having like, you know, paper and pencil and stuff like that, journal stuff like that, I got my little Apple Pencil and I got my iPad. Whenever I go into notes, all my notes transfer throughout all my Apple devices, and it's just mad convenient for me. Like right now, I got my script pulled up and just like everything just set and ready for me in just like a nice, you know, just a nice small size. And I'm able to just throw this in like various different bags. Like I don't have to worry about fitting it into like I have like a little side pouch that I use. Yeah, I do. Okay. I do. You feel me? And it fits perfectly in there. So while y'all over there talking about me having a little side pouch, stuff like that carrying with me, it's handy. You feel me? The iPad mini, all in all, just fits in many different places, and it's super friendly when it comes to like taking it on airplanes and things of such. All in all, portability is there. Is the specs not like, you know, need to do better with, you know, all the iPads, like having a 120 hertz screen? Yeah, but with the iPad mini in specific, are you really using that? You really gonna be using a 120 hertz screen with the iPad mini? Now, me personally, me being just a freaking geek, I would love it to have a 120 hertz screen, and I would love for the bezels to be a little bit thinner. That'd be freaking amazing, personally. At the same time, when you buy the iPad mini, you're not immediately thinking, okay, I'm gonna do Procreate, I'm gonna do freaking editing, I'm not gonna, like, you're not gonna do all the stuff that you would do as opposed to like an iPad Pro. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it still works in 2025. Because it's portability, usability, and people are still going to buy it for that simple fact that we're all going to use it as like a journal. It's going to be something that we can just, you know, go like this. We can bow, let me write that down real quick, blah, 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 my pencil just dropped. Bow, let me write that down real quick. And I see it all the time for, you know, businesses and things and such. Obviously, Apple uses it for their little scheduling. They have their little iPad mini that they do their scheduling for, but also businesses use it for like Square and things and such, to which they can be able to track things down, look at schedules, and all that other jazz that they do with their business. They use the iPad mini because it's super light and you don't have to worry about a big iPad having to carry that around and things and such. Now, of course, if you guys don't know what the iPadOS 26 beta does, it pretty much just obviously gives you that little liquid glass design, which we all know of, but it gives you that windowing type of capability that you can be able to do with your applications. So say you go into an app and you wanted to use it as a window, there's gonna be like a little sliver on the corner that you can be able to utilize with your finger. Bring that over, you can size it the way you want. Some apps only size it specifically because you can't size it any other way without, you know, you can't stretch some of them and things like that, like TikTok and stuff. But you can be able to window that, and then all you gotta do is just find another app that you wanna do and then just keep opening them up. And it'll just window each and every one of them for you, and you can be able to just slide it all around. I find it very, very easy for me to use notes in ChatGPT, because I use ChatGPT a lot just to like craft ideas and things and such. So I'll have ChatGPT open on one side and notes open on the other side. Or if I'm doing something for TikTok, I'll have TikTok open on one side and I'll have my notes open up on the other side, so I can be able to craft both ways. And if I want to do like a picture slideshow or something like that, you feel me? So the windowing, I think, is absolutely amazing for the iPad, because the simple fact that they're able to utilize something like the A17 Pro chip and give you that windowing capability, I think is super neat. Now, things like M2, M3, M4, all those chips, I kind of expect that because those are super strong chips anyways. So whenever you put something into like an iPad mini and giving it that window design, I think that's absolutely dope. Also, whenever you go into the app, you can see at the very top, there's just like a little toolbar, similar to like what you would see like on a MacBook or just like a computer in general. You'll see like a top to where you can be able to look at the settings, minimize it, expand it, close it out, things as such. So it acts like a normal computer, but you don't have Mac OS. You're still running on iPadOS, which is always going to be the catch of this whole thing. If you never use like a mouse or anything like that on an iPad, they did change the cursor. The cursor used to be like a little circle, like a little circle, and now they use it more like a pointer. And I like the pointer better because it allows you to precisely click on things, and it gives it like a nice little like computer effect pretty much. So you can be able to utilize the mouse with the iPad that you have, and you can be able to just move it around just like a mouse is. Now here's the thing about the iPad mini, it really competing against the bigger iPads as well as the computers, just like your regular MacBook. The thing about it is that the Pro it's super portable. We all get that. It's super portable. You can be able to use your Apple Pencil to write down notes as opposed to like a MacBook or something. It's not touchscreen. You're not able to take it off like a Microsoft Surface or anything like that. You're not able to do any of that. You are able to do with the iPad mini, obviously the other iPads. We're talking about the iPad mini right now. The only thing that sucks about the iPad mini compared to other iPads and laptops is that its size. And obviously I've been saying this whole video that the size is really great, but it also has its cons, because if you're on a windowing like system where you're windowing a bunch of apps, there's only so much room for it to fit on there. So you have to squeeze everything all on there, and it just starts to feel very bogged down on your screen, and you don't have a lot of room to work with, you know what I mean? So as opposed to like having like an 11-inch or a 13-inch iPad, or even just a 13-inch MacBook, you're able to fit so many different windows on there, so you can be doing various different things. You feel me? On this iPad mini, you only got so much space on there to be able to do what you want to do. So for me, I think max 3 is to which it starts to get very, very bogged down. Now, if certain apps can go smaller and it looks good smaller, then cool. But mainly you're able to do just like 3 rectangles, three kind of rectangles, and that's almost even pushing it if you're utilizing it for various different things like multitasking and stuff like that, because you can use the Notes app, but you got the Notes app is this skinny. Like, it's pretty, I mean, obviously this kind of exaggerating, but the Notes app is this skinny, and it's kind of hard for you to really write on the Notes app with it being that skinny. It's almost easier to just make it bigger and then writing it on there while having something else skinny on the other side. You know what I mean? Second con of it is going to be obviously the chip. The A17 Pro chip can only do so much. So you're going to be experiencing overheating issues. Is it bad? No, not at all. But you will experience that, and I haven't really pushed it to the limit to where I'm like doing multiple things that are heavy on the chip. You're still going to obviously expect that with an A17 Pro as opposed to something like an M3 chip or just a MacBook in general. And of course, we cannot forget to mention the battery. So the battery on the iPad mini is going to drain fast, let's be honest. And I'm not saying all of this to just say, oh, iPadOS 26 shouldn't have got on the iPad mini, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not saying that at all. I think it is actually amazing that we can be able to do that because I utilize it a lot. I use the 2 windowing system because that's something that is actually beneficial to me on how I work in my workflow. I like to be able to have both of my screens up on the iPad mini. But the battery life is something that you'll probably expect to, drain faster, because if you have multiple windows open, that chip is working more. And the more that chip works, the more the battery's gonna have to work, and then the battery's gonna start to drain. But like I said, I haven't really worked it that much to be able to tell you like certain numbers on like, hey yo, you do this, it's gonna go down to 20. It goes there, you know what I mean? I think the last thing that just kind of irks me, but I kind of get it, is that there's no like Magic Keyboard or Logitech keyboard specific for the iPad mini. Now, I'm sure, I mean, obviously, this is something that the iPad mini has never had. I mean, you can attach a keyboard, not really attach a keyboard, but you can connect a keyboard to the iPad mini via Bluetooth, and that works perfectly fine. I do it with like a little Logitech MX Keys little keyboard, and I use my Logitech mouse. That all works perfectly fine. If you want to be able to have something like, you know, like a portable laptop, like, you know, the MacBook, or have a Magic Keyboard like the iPad Air and the iPad Pros have, the 11-inch and the 13-inch, you're not going to be able to get that with the iPad mini for the simple fact that they don't make that. And I looked around everywhere. There's no place that makes that, no manufacturer that makes that truly. Now, there are ones that make it, but you have to connect it via Bluetooth. I'm talking about just full integration. Like, you don't got to worry about, you know, connecting it to Bluetooth. You just dock it on there and you're connected, ready to go. And so I personally haven't seen any of that, and I think that's a big con because, I mean, you're not able to utilize it as a full laptop. So all this to answer the question, can you use this as a laptop for your day-to-day and have no issues with it? Simple answer, no. Complex answer, yes, maybe, but there are going to be caveats to it, of course. The reason why I say no, for the simple fact that when you buy the iPad mini, yes, with the iPadOS 26 beta, you can do whatever you want. You can use it as a laptop if it fits your workflow. But if we're talking specifically on what it's used for and what we bought the iPad mini for, it was simply to use it for note-taking, reading, watching videos, things of such. If you were anticipating of using it as your daily driver, such as like, you know, surfing the web while editing or things of such, that's where you're gonna have a little bit of issue. And I think solely because of its size and not having enough space to be able to do things like that on there, that's where it kind of struggles. You're better off just getting like an iPad Air 13-inch or something like that, or 11-inch, that's gonna have all that screen real estate for you to be able to multitask that way with a better chip in it. I am not at all shitting on the iPad mini. I love the iPad mini so much, but I have been seeing, you know, everybody hyped up about the, you know, the windowing system with the iPad mini, and I think it's a freaking amazing. Like I said, I use the windowing on the iPad mini. I do 2 windows all the time. I don't treat it as like a separate laptop. I wouldn't treat it as like if I went out, bought an iPad Pro, got a Magic Keyboard, I'm like, boom, I know I'm gonna be able to use this with the windowing system and do bada bing, bada boom, bada bada bing, boom. I use it solely because, okay, if I had my notes up and I had ChatGPT figure something out for me, boom, I had ChatGPT in one window and I had the notes on the other side. That's how I use it, straight up. Or if I'm in TikTok doing like a little TikTok slideshow, I have my notes on one side and I have the TikTok slideshows on the other side. That's literally how I use it. I don't really use it like doing, you know, having Safari up, notes up, this up, boom, 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 boom. I don't really use it like that. Because if I use it like that, I'm better off just going on my laptop or this cute computer behind me. And that's just me. But if you're someone like me that just uses it for notes in ChatGPT or notes in Safari, like a 2 windowing system, yeah, I mean, it's going to work and I use it all the time and I can say it works efficiently and I have no issues with like lagging or things of such or apps closing out and everything. Obviously it's beta, but still, I think whenever it fully rolls out, you're not going to have any of those issues, and I think it's perfectly fine for that, especially with the form factor of it. But I just wanted to overall talk about the iPad mini, my experience with the iPadOS 26 beta. I wanted to kind of clear things up with how I have been working on it with the whole windowing system, how I've been using it with like the mouse, the keyboard and things of such. But of course, you guys let me know if you guys have been using your iPad mini as like a little laptop. I don't want to say replacement, but more so just like a little mini laptop is what I'm gonna call it, mini laptop. Let me know your guys' experience with it if you guys have downloaded the iPadOS 26 public beta. Let me know if you guys use other iPads like the iPad Air or the iPad Pro with that, and let me know your experience. Now, of course, just let me know if I'm bugging too, because I want to hear your guys' opinions on this. I always love to hear other people's opinions on this, because if it's something that you could be able to fully utilize as a laptop, I'm all down for it. Tell me how and I'm gonna do it. You feel me? Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this gives you some sort of insight if you've been wondering about, you know, getting an iPad mini for that specific purpose, or just getting an iPad in general and learning about iPadOS 26. I think is an amazing update alongside with iOS 26 and then macOS 26, all those other 26s. I think they did an amazing job with that. I personally enjoy it. A lot of people don't like it, but I like the design. I like the feel of everything now and how all my devices, including my Apple Watch, has changed to a different design and kind of feel. Thank you guys so much for all the love you have been giving me. Don't forget to like, sub. We almost to 1,000. We got to get to 1,000, but like, sub. If you don't like this video, let me know why you don't like this video. Let's do some critiques, so whenever we get big and to the moon, we there. You feel me? But per usual, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day for watching me on your screen. And we are out. Love y'all.